Family, a group of individuals bonded by love and joyful memories, a thing that most people can't imagine their lives without. Well, except for the scarce individuals who wish their loved ones no longer exist. And today, we will talk about those who made those desires come true. Lowell Andrews. Lowell Andrews was a bright 18-year-old who was a zoology major. However, he was harboring a deep secret that he would soon reveal. On Thanksgiving Day in 1958, Lowell finished a novel before dressing himself in a suit. He then grabbed a 22 caliber rifle and a revolver before heading downstairs to his family. Once he made it to the bottom step, he pulled out his weapons before shooting his parents multiple times, then shooting his sister right between the eyes. Afterwards, Lowell left like nothing happened. Hell, he even watched the movie in theaters to provide him a solid alibi. But he was caught, mostly because he seemed very nonchalant about the murder of his own family. Lowell was executed shortly after, at the age of 22. Brian Blackwell. Brian Blackwell was an exemplary student and was even dubbed as the brains by his friends. There was one teensy little problem though. He was a pathological liar. He convinced others that he had money beyond his means, and Brian often did it to his girlfriend. Unfortunately, Brian's lies and financial thievery caught up with them. On July 25th, 2004, Brian and his family sat down for some drinks in the living room, and sadly, the conversation became an argument when Brian's father confronted him on his behavior. Then, in a fit of drunken rage, Brian beat his father with a claw hammer. During this altercation, his mother walked in with a carving knife, but Brian quickly got the upper hand and snatched away the weapon before stabbing his own mother in the chest 30 times. Then he turned back to his wounded father and stabbed him to death as well. Thankfully, Brian Blackwell was caught 4 days later and sentenced to life in prison. Larry Swartz. Larry Swartz was a foster child who bounced home to home until Robert and Catherine Swartz took him in. At first, everything was going great until one of the other adopted kids, named Michael, got kicked out due to bad behavior. According to Larry, this is when the verbal abuse from the parents started. The bond between them all disintegrated, and soon Larry couldn't handle the verbal assault any longer. So he decided that murder was the only way out. Larry bashed Catherine's head in and stabbed her multiple times around the neck. And when his adoptive father investigated the scene, Larry rushed him and stabbed him in the heart and chest. Since Larry was 17 years old at the time of the murder in 1984, he was only sentenced to 20 years. But he only served 9 years and died of a heart attack at the age of 38. Charles Whitman. Charles Whitman was an intelligent and devoted husband that was plagued by headaches and irrational thoughts. On August 1st, 1966, he completely snapped, and in a whirlwind of emotions, he decided to stab his mother and wife. So he went to his mother's place around midnight and stabbed her in the heart before he returned back home and stabbed his wife 5 times in the chest. He then put sheets on both of the corpses before writing a detailed note about his actions and what to do with his remains. And that same day, he decided to go to the University of Texas, where he climbed up to the 28th floor with a sniper rifle. He opened fire on innocent civilians and killed 15 people and wounded 31 in just 96 minutes. Thankfully, 2 officers shot him down and he was given his final wish, which was an autopsy of his brain. And to their surprise, they found a pecan-sized tumor. Tyler Haley. Tyler Haley had been wanting to kill his parents for weeks, even discussing his dark desires with his friends. So, on July 16, 2011, he took 3 pills of ecstasy before standing behind his mother, Mary Jo. He hit her with the back of a claw hammer and continued to bludgeon her to death. Her screams alerted Tyler's father, Blake, and when he saw the scene, he froze. And in that time frame, Tyler walked up to his father and killed him as well. Afterwards, he drug his parents' bodies into their bedroom and cleaned up the blood. And as if it wasn't crazy enough, He threw a party and told his guests about the horrific crime he just committed. But it didn't take long for word to spread, and Tyler was arrested the very next day. And in 2014, he was sentenced to life in prison. Tune in next week for some more true crime.